Hello, my lovely friend, and welcome to the Soul Care Intuitive Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Grubbs, and in this podcast, we're going to show you that you're not just ordinary, you're extraordinary. I never had any spiritual experiences as a child, and I did not discover my own psychic abilities until my late 30s. I love to share all that I have learned to show you that we all already have these skills inside of us, just screaming to be let loose. So if you're ready to awaken your soul, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, my lovely friend. I am so excited to be here with you on the initial episode of the Soul Care Intuitive Podcast. My name is Melinda Grubbs, and I will be your host on the journey of awakening your soul. We have all been taught to believe that we are just ordinary people, and we don't have any magical aspects inside of us, that only the gifted are born with mediumship or psychic abilities, that only the gifted are able to connect to the other side or heal you. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. We are not ordinary. We are all magical. We all have the ability inside of us to connect to the other side, to heal our own bodies, to heal others, and to heal the consciousness of the world. We all have the ability to be psychic, and we all are innately born with those abilities. We have just been programmed and taught throughout our lives to believe that we are not that connection, that we are just a body. On the contrary, we are a soul inside of this body. This body is real. You can touch this body, you can feel it, you can sense things with it, but the soul inside of your body is eternal. And your soul has been communicating soul to soul for many, many millennia. Your soul already knows how to connect and make these beautiful and magical healings happen. Your soul already knows how to stay connected to your friends and family that you have lost. My journey started in 2014 when my father was killed by someone. And I knew that I wanted to find a way to stay connected to him, to always have him in my life. And at the time in 2014, I would see mediums on TV, I would see their books in bookstores, or you'd watch them on television shows giving these amazing readings. And in the back of my mind, I always thought, that's me, that is supposed to be me. I would get so excited, but then in a split second I would say, I wasn't born that way. I can't do that. When my father was killed, I made it my mission to find a way to do just that. I knew in my heart that I could do this work. And I was going to break through that barrier of people telling you that you had to be born that way in order to do mediumship or psychic, Reiki, tarot work, anything spiritual. And I did just that. In 2019, I had my very first spiritual awakening where I was able to connect to a friend of a friend's mom and grandmom in spirit. I was out at a restaurant and we were having a wonderful time. But I remember on the way there, I felt really anxious and really shaky. I didn't want to go in, but I did at the same time. I felt this calling inside of me, pulling me towards this restaurant. But the person inside of me who likes to be snuggled up in bed with a book was saying, hey, let's go back home. Let's go get that book we put down. I'm so thankful that I did not listen to that comforting voice that just wanted to recluse itself into the comfort of my own home. And I allowed myself to go out that night. You see, when my father was killed, I asked him in my mind, Daddy, please show me that you're always around. Please give me signs that you're always with me so that I know you're still here and you're still communicating with me. And right as I said that, maybe 10 seconds later, a huge van drove by with the word Dad in huge red letters, Dad's bail bonds. And I knew that my answer and my prayer, my communication to my father was heard. Now, the bail bonds part does take me back to the woman that killed my father. So this sign was twofold. My father was telling me in that moment that he heard me and he was going to always communicate with me and always be a part of my life. But the bail bonds part would come back full circle a few years later when I was working on healing and forgiving the person who killed him. And I remember that van coming into my vision as a way for my dad to say, "It's okay to forgive her. I already do." So I'm in this restaurant. It's 2019. My dad had been gone for 5 years. And I'm going to get into another episode of the time that it took me to get to this point in 2019, because it's really hard and there are some dark moments, and I want to dedicate an entire episode to that. But for now, in the restaurant, my dad used to always give me signs of hearts. Everywhere I go, there are hearts. I recently went on a trip to Europe with my mom, and there were hearts on the ground in a totally different country. My friends in other states, even other countries as well, send me photos of my dad leaving them hearts as well. My dad was a wonderful man, and all of my friends referred to him as their dad as well, even into our adult years. So as I'm walking into this restaurant, I look down and I'm seeing a ton of hearts on the ground. But I did not get that feeling inside of me that said these are from my dad. Every time I see a heart, or every time one of my friends sees one of these hearts, there's an instant feeling of love. There's an instant feeling of connection, of gratitude, of joy. And when I looked at these hearts on the ground, I didn't feel any of that. And I knew they were not from him, but my logical mind was trying to say, yes, they are, of course. Let's accept this as a sign. So we end up going into the restaurant. We spend a couple hours. We're eating, we're laughing, we're talking. We're having a really great time, me and my friend. And we chose this specific restaurant because his friend was a supervisor there, and she happened to be our waitress. And whenever I tell this story, I name her Natalie to keep her anonymity. So Natalie was waiting on us all night, and I never felt or sensed anything. Now remember, I was taught to believe that in order to be a medium, you had to be born that way. And even though I knew in my heart that I could still talk to my dad, I never in my wildest dreams thought that I could connect or talk to someone in spirit that wasn't connected directly to me, a friend or a family member. As we're leaving the restaurant and we walk outside, I get hit with this energy of anxiety all over again. And I look down at the hearts again, and again they don't mean anything. So I end up going to my car, and as I reach my hand out to the handle, it's literally just a pull to open the car door. It was like my mind had shut off, and I wasn't able to remember how to open the door. In hindsight, looking back, I know this was spirit telling me, don't get in your car and leave. There's something important you have to do here. And within an instant, I realized I had to go back inside, but I didn't know what for. And my friend who was with me said, "What is wrong with you? You can't open the door?" And I said, "I know that this sounds crazy, but I need to go back inside for something." As we turn around to go back inside, he's kind of holding me because I'm really nervous. I don't know what's happening. And again, hindsight, I realize now that spirit was trying to blend with me, but I was fearful because I didn't know what was happening. I'd never experienced this before. And when I look back to these moments, I didn't feel freaked out. I didn't feel evil energy. I didn't feel like I was supposed to run away screaming. It was a good kind of nervous. It was a good kind of scared. The kind of scared or nervous you get before you go down a really fun but really tall slide at a water park. The kind of scared you get right before you step on stage to perform a dance that you've been practicing all year long. I knew that I was supposed to go back inside, but I had this really nervous, anticipatory energy, but it felt good at the same time. As we got back inside, I didn't know still what I was doing there or why I needed to go back inside. And the restaurant kind of went quiet. And there was kind of like a white haze around me, like the world stopped. Nothing was moving. Nothing was talking. Nothing was happening. We're in the middle of this very busy restaurant at a very busy time of day where I should have been able to hear people talking and cheering, laughing and clinking glasses, eating their delicious meals. But for a split second, the whole world stopped. I couldn't hear, I couldn't focus. And then all of a sudden I looked over and I saw Natalie, and the world came back together and started moving again. I said to my friend, okay, we have to go talk to Natalie, but I don't know why. Will you still go with me? And again, we had been sitting there for hours, enjoying our dinner. She would sit and talk to us a few times, and I never felt anything. And as soon as we walked up to Natalie, and I said to her, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure what's happening here, but I knew I had to come back and talk to you. Once those words left my mouth, and it's almost as if they left my mouth on their own accord, I don't fully remember forming those words myself, I felt an energy step right next to me. Of course, the fear started to kick in because now I can feel something next to me. And when I would look, there was nothing there. But for whatever reason, I knew exactly who it was, and it was Natalie's mom. And of course, I'm sitting there in my mind, theoretically, with my jaw on the floor, like, what is happening? How do I know this? So I just went with it. I said, Natalie, I'm feeling someone here, and I know that this is your mom. And then I could get little bursts of information from Natalie's mom. So I knew right away a little burst, it was her mom. Then I saw the letter M, and her mom's name started with M. I kept seeing little pieces, a little burst of information here and there, and everything I said was correct. I felt an immense sense of love and peace and pride. And when I said that to Natalie, I felt the energy of her mom leave. And as soon as that energy left, the world started to spin again and slow down, but it was in a really beautiful and positive way. I felt so calm and so connected to my own body, but also connected to the universe. I look back on that moment and it is clear as day in my mind. I can still see and smell and experience everything that happened to me as if it was happening right now. We end up going outside and Natalie comes with us. And as soon as we go outside, I feel another female energy step next to me and say, we leave those hearts for her, but she never notices them. And there were so many hearts on the ground. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Do I keep going with this? And I remember thinking, let's do it. Let's go for it. You just gave a reading. Are you crazy? You just gave a mediumship reading that was accurate. And I had never, ever connected to spirit before. Besides the signs from my dad, I never talked to him. I never had a conversation with him like I was having a conversation with Natalie's mom. So I say to Natalie, I do feel your grandmother here. And as soon as I said that, more information started coming. And it was in the same manner. It was a little burst here, a little burst there. And all of the pieces fit together. Natalie understood everything I was getting and what her grandmother was saying. And again, I felt that deep and immense love and pride and gratitude. And as soon as I said that to Natalie, the energy of her grandmother had left. That night changed the trajectory of my entire soul. Looking back, I know that spirit had to do all that it did to get me there. For one, I didn't want to go out. I'm very much introverted. I did not want to leave, but my friend randomly invited me to go out. He knows that I like to stay home, but he invited me to go out, and I said yes. My conscious mind said yes. My subconscious was like, ooh, pajamas, a book, your bed. But I'm so thankful that I ended up going out. Then when I got to the restaurant and the hearts weren't for my dad and I was feeling that anxious feeling, I wanted to go home, but I didn't. And when I got back out to my car and I couldn't remember how to open the handle, I could have just had my friend open the door and dive in my car and get the heck out of there. But I didn't do that. Spirit set up all of these moments, all of these steps to get me to talk to Natalie, to be near Natalie. Spirit blended with me to show me that mediumship is capable, that I am capable, that ordinary people like you and me have this ability inside of us screaming and waiting to come out. And my prayers for 5 years had finally been answered. I know now that Spirit did what it had to do to get my attention, to get me to say, oh my God, there's magic inside of me. How do I keep going with this magic? How do I keep producing this magic? And that's exactly what I did. Now, I tried to recreate that several times afterwards, but I could not connect. I could not make a connection to friends and family and spirit. And I asked a few of my friends and family if I could try to practice, and it didn't work either. Why is that? Because Spirit needed to give me that push, but the rest was going to be up to me. I had to learn, I had to grow, I had to do a lot of healing, a lot of soul searching. I took mediumship classes with many different mediumship teachers. I love taking classes and I love learning from different teachers because they're all going to give you immense value from their own personality and their own characteristics. I love all of the mentors I worked with. But Spirit was saying, we showed you what you're capable of. We showed you what your soul can do, but the rest is up to you. And believe me, I dove into everything I could find about mediumship. I purchased every book I could find. I joined Facebook groups. I studied. I joined development classes and mediumship circles. And I learned how to become a professional medium. From 2019 until today, I have dedicated myself to opening that magic, not only within me, but within all of us. It is a lie that we are not magical. It is a lie that we cannot connect soul to soul. Whether that be someone who's still here in the physical world or a soul in the spirit world, you can connect and communicate to that energy, to that person. We have been taught to believe that we don't have any say or any power, but it's very untrue. You hold all the power, you hold all the keys, and you hold all the magic to your life. And you can make it as strong and powerful, beautiful, and happy as you want. And in this podcast, we're going to be diving into ways that you can do just that. I'm going to be helping you learn about mediumship, about Reiki, tarot. I'm going to be taking you down my journey of finding so many different spiritual divination tools, groups, and ways that they have healed me in manners in which I never thought possible. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast and join me every week as we dive into your soul, into the magic within you, and we bring it to the forefront so that you can create the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Melinda Grubbs. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soul Care Intuitive Podcast, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Goodbye, my lovely friend.